most healthcare providers that are afraid of using AI think that if I learn this, my job is going to be replaced. See, I don't think that's the case. And for those that don't know how to use AI, they're going to get left behind.
This is Secrets for Success.
Welcome to the Secrets for Success podcast. I'm your host, Greg Todd. Thank you as always for joining me. Today, we are going to do a 10 questions. These are actually questions that were given to me from my team, but they got the questions from people in our audience. And so it's 10 questions. I honestly have not fully reviewed them. But I've said, you know what, why don't I just do it live on an episode for the podcast? So here we go. We're going to do 10 questions, and these are questions that have come from you all. So question number 1 is, why do most clinicians feel stuck trading time for money? I believe most clinicians feel stuck trading time for money because they invested a lot of money to learn how to trade time for money. That's why. If you've put all of your eggs in this basket and you believe that this basket was going to, it was going to make you trade time for money, but it was going to also give me some amazing things. It was going to give you status. It was going to give you money. It was going to give you the ability to have a really good lifestyle. And even though it hasn't given that to you, you put a lot of money into it. And so it's hard to turn away from something that you've kind of gone all in on. If you went all in on black, you gotta sometimes have to ride with black, and then you realize black ain't gonna give it to you. So you're like, oh, crap, do I go to red now? I mean, that's what's happening. Is we feel stuck trading time for money because we put so much money into learning how to trade time for money. So that's my answer to that. All right, number 2. What's the number 1 myth about using AI in healthcare? Okay, I think the biggest myth with regards to using AI in healthcare from healthcare providers is that AI is going to replace you instead of AI is going to scale you. I think most healthcare providers that are afraid of using AI think that if I learn this, my job is going to be replaced. See, I don't think that's the case. I just believe that the human element when it comes to healthcare is going to always be needed to some component. I do believe, though, that there's going to be a different level of responsibility and requirement. And for those that don't know how to use AI, they're going to get left behind because the output that companies and even your clients are going to want, you're just not going to be able to deliver. And you're not separating yourself from your competitors in the market. So, okay. Number 3, how can a busy clinician realistically create more free time? How can a busy clinician create more free time? You create more free time, I guess, in a few different ways. Number 1 is you charge more. So just think about it. If I'm charging $200 an hour for my services, if I was to charge $400 an hour, and at $400 an hour, I can make the same as what I'm making charging $200 in half the time. I mean, that is one way to do it, right? The second way that you can do it is by having more offers that are detached from your time. So let's just say you're like, okay, I'm not going to charge $400. I'm going to only charge $200. I'm not going to do that. Okay, cool. Are there other things that you can do that can bring value to people that don't require you to be in front of people for you to deliver the value? That's another way you can create more free time. So if I can do that and that can replace half of my in-person schedule, I could create more free time that way. And then number 3 is, all right, I don't want to do any of those things. I just want to do things old school. Okay, well then hire more people. So if I, hire more people that can do the work that I'm doing, and I'm making a profit from those people, basically charging people a lot more than what I'm paying to have those people, you can create more free time that way. Either way, you got to do something different than what you're doing right now. So hopefully that makes sense. All right. Number 4, what's one mistake providers make when trying to earn outside the clinic? What is one of the mistakes that providers make trying to earn outside the clinic? I believe the biggest mistake they make is thinking that everybody respects them, everybody knows them, and that they are not taking into account the awareness funnel. I think that's the biggest thing. So people are like, why are people not buying my stuff? I'm doing stuff outside the clinic. I'm going online. Well, it's because it's not that your stuff is not necessarily good. It's that you have to understand the funnel and the psychology on how people buy. So the way it works is people start at awareness. Okay, so understand that 99.999% of people do not even know that you exist. They don't know you exist, and they certainly don't know that you have something that could potentially help them. Okay, then number two is interest. Of the 99.999% of people that don't know you exist, okay, great. Now we're going to do things that are going to get them aware that you exist, but not all of them need the solution that you have for the problem that you solve in a marketplace. Not everybody needs cat litter. Not everybody needs dog food. Not everybody needs a new car. Not everybody needs new clothes. Not everybody wants to buy dress clothes. Not everybody needs physical therapy services. Not everybody needs occupational therapy or pediatric, therapy services. They don't need it. So there's a group of people out there that do, and there's some that don't. My focus is just to make people aware of me, and then the ones that are interested in what I have, make them aware that I have something that could help them. Everybody else, leave alone, okay? I think the other part of that is even after people are interested, then you still have to build a relationship with the majority of those people. They're not ready to pay you. Just because they're interested doesn't mean that that it's time for them to take out their wallet. So you have to go through understanding that people are going to go through consideration. They're going to go through really understanding your philosophy, and your philosophy might be a different way than they're used to. And that takes time. For some people, it takes time. For most, it takes time. For many, it doesn't. So you just have to understand that. And then once they get there, then they have intent on changing their life. And then they start to evaluate you. And when they're evaluating you, that's when you have to present them with an offering. And if you don't do all those things, then you could find it very difficult to make money outside the clinic. But that's what happens. And most of us in the clinic don't even understand, respect, or have had to experience those steps before someone steps foot in the clinic. They usually step foot in the clinic, they're already ready. They're already ready. Somebody else did all that work that you were supposed to do. Maybe it was you, but maybe it's somebody else that did it. So something to think about. Okay, number 5, how are clinicians using AI without being tech experts? I think the big thing about clinicians using AI, not being tech experts, is that you don't have to, this is what I'll say. You do not have to be a tech expert to use AI. But what you need to be able to do is you need to be able to understand what it is that you want. You need to be able to communicate with humans. And what I mean by communicate with humans is that is the number one thing to using AI. There's no tech needed, but you have to be able to communicate, and you have to treat it like a human. So there are many clinicians that have never actually had to give instruction to someone else that is not their patient. So AI is an employee. And if you can't speak to an employee and give someone instruction to do something that you need them to do, then you're not going to be able to use AI. But that's a communication issue. And I think the people that struggle with AI, which very few do, they struggle because they think it's tech, but it's not tech. It's, can you communicate? I just hit the little voice record button and I just talk to it like it's human. And then I understand that I can continue to talk to it until it gives me what it is that I want. It doesn't get sensitive. It doesn't have massive feelings. Its focus is to give me what it is that I want. And I just try to give it as much as I can, just like a human. So, okay, number 6, why isn't seeing more patients the answer to burnout? Okay, so seeing more patients isn't an answer to burnout because you're using 2 resources when you're seeing patients. You're using 2 resources that happen to be limited. Okay, you're using time, which there's only 24 hours in a day. That's limited. Okay, you can't create more time, right? And you're using your body, your energy to actually see a patient. So if you're using the limited resource of your energy, your body, times the limited resource of time, that means the more you do of both is going to eventually lead to you just becoming physically tired. Now, if you become physically tired, but you're making $500,000 a year, you're going to, and that's enough money for you, you're going to have a less likelihood of getting burnout. But if you're physically tired, you're exhausted, and you're not making enough to where you're like, wow, if I continue to do this over the next 6, 8, 10, 12 months, 24 months, like my life is going to be so radically different. Well, that just creates a different level of burnout, right? The first one would just create physical burnout because you just get tired, but you see that the end is near. It's kind of like running a marathon, right? But the second layer is like, I'm physically tired. I feel like I've run a marathon and like the finish line is nowhere in sight. Now you're emotionally, mentally, maybe even spiritually burned out. So I think that's the reason why it typically doesn't work for people. It's because you're just using too limited resources and there's no end in sight. Okay, number 7, what's the fastest way to turn one consult into a repeatable system? Yeah, that's a great question. So the fastest way to turn one consult into a repeatable system is to record your consult. I would highly recommend using a platform like otter.ai. It's free. It will record up to 300 minutes of whatever it is that you're saying. Get permission from your patient to be able to do it. And then take that recording and turns into a document or a PDF or text file. You take that text file and you put it into an AI platform and you say, hey, can you create systems out of this? That's it. Can you create a repeatable system out of this? I mean, that's all you got to do and it'll do it. It takes the stuff you have in your head and it turns it into a system for you. That's the fastest way to do it. Okay, number 8, why do so many healthcare pros feel overwhelmed by AI? I think people feel overwhelmed by AI because AI can be overwhelming. There's a lot. There's Claude, there's ChatGPT, there's HeyGen, there's 11 Labs, there's Gemini, there's all these different platforms. And so when you think, oh my gosh, there's so many different platforms, where do I start? What do I do? Well, that's what creates the overwhelm. Instead of just understanding that you could make tens of thousands of dollars just from one. So if you just say, hey, you know what? I'm going to take ChatGPT. I'm going to take Claude. I'm just going to take one of them. And I'm going to learn that one. It's no different than, you could be a Maitland therapist. You can be a manual therapist. You can be, a McKenzie therapist. You can be all these different, like you can have a really good career with just one, just learning one. You don't have to learn all the stuff, right? Just learn one and get really good at it. And that alone will change your life. That's it. So overwhelm only happens when you feel like you have to do everything. You don't have to do everything with AI. Just take one and run with it. Okay, number 9, what's one small win a provider can get with AI in 30 days? Oh gosh, I think a really fast win that an AI or a clinician can get in 30 days with AI is just talking to an AI platform like Otter, talking about what it is that you do, that you talk about all day anyways, and then taking that recording and putting it inside of an AI software like ChatGPT, like Claude, and saying, turn this into a system, okay? And that system you can now turn into whatever it is that you want, okay? So either doing that, I would give you one other one, a small win a provider can get with AI is to just clone themselves. Clone yourself into a 24-hour day, 7-day a week, 365-day version of yourself that has information that anyone can access if they have a problem that they want to have addressed and answered. That's the fastest one you can get. You can make money from that. You can charge clients more. You can give better value to clients if you do that. And then the final one, number 10, how can a clinician clone themselves without hiring more staff? The fastest way a clinician can clone themselves is by creating a custom GPT using ChatGPT. Take the things that you know, start to record it, use your phone's dictation system, use otter.ai, and take those things, frequently asked questions that people have, and record it and save it and turn it into a custom GPT that's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Give clients the link to that GPT. When I am not available, ask this, and it is going to give you the answers to your questions based on what I have fed it. And I'm going to make it better and better by feeding it every single month. And I think that is the fastest way that you can clone yourself without hiring any more staff. So anyways, hopefully you guys, you got a lot from that. That's my 10 questions version of the SFS Secrets for Success podcast. Yeah, I think I'll be doing this a few more times. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it. All right, see you guys next time.